All right, let's jump right into a fantastic historical mystery. We're talking about a massive battle, a king's very strange fate, and a prophecy that was, and I mean this literally, set in stone.
So, to get started, check out this incredible piece of 16th century poetry. It was written for a king, Tirumalaraya, and it's pretty wild. It compares him to the three-eyed god Shiva when he's with his wife, but alone, it calls him the one-eyed Shukracharya, who is the guru of the demons. It's a really strange way to compliment a king, and it immediately makes you wonder.
I mean, really, why would a court poet go out of his way to highlight what most people would see as a flaw? Well, to figure that out, we have to go back to the single, catastrophic event that completely defined this king's life. And honestly, the fate of his entire empire.
The year you need to have in your head is 1565. This is the year of the Battle of Talikota. And trust me, this wasn't just some skirmish. It was a devastating clash that was about to change the course of South Indian history forever.
So, picture this. In the total chaos of the fighting, an arrow finds its mark and hits Tirumalaraya right in the face. It was a brutal injury, one that would scar him for life. But here's the crazy part, it didn't kill him.
And I mean, this battle was an absolute wipeout for his family. His older brother, the regent Aliya Ramaraya, was killed. His other brother, Venkatadri, was also killed. Even his own son, Raghothama, died on that very same battlefield. And yet somehow, in the middle of all that devastation, Tirumalaraya makes it out alive.
Which of course brings us to the big question, right? How? How did he manage to survive when his brothers, even his own son, didn't make it? Was it just pure dumb luck? A brilliant tactical retreat? Well, the answer might not be on the battlefield at all, but in a really curious event that happened over 20 years earlier. And this is where it all connects. The battle, as we said, was in 1565, but the real clue, it comes from 21 years before that, in 1544, from a message that was carved into stone. Now you gotta understand, this wasn't some boring old land grant or a standard royal decree. No, this was something else entirely. A high-ranking official, someone super loyal to the prince, commissions this stone carving for one specific reason: to protect him from a danger they saw coming.
And this danger had a very specific name, apamrityu. It's a Sanskrit term that basically means a violent, unnatural, or just untimely death. Think about it. That's exactly the kind of death his family would later face on the battlefield.
And look at this. This is a direct quote from that stone. It literally says, "This gift is offered for the removal of the apamrityu that has come upon Tirumalapad. This is basically a receipt, written in stone, showing that people believed, 21 years before the battle, that this prince was fated to die a violent death.
So let's just lay this all out step by step, because this is where the story gets really wild. First, you have a prophecy warning of a violent death. Second, a ritual is done and recorded in stone to try and stop it. And then, 21 years later, that prophecy seems to come true for his family, except him. He lives, but he doesn't walk away completely unscathed. He loses an eye. And this, right here, is the central, mind-bending question, isn't it? Could this ancient ritual have actually worked? Did this act of devotion, recorded in stone, somehow change his fate on that battlefield? Of course, we can't know for sure, but wow, it adds this fascinating, almost supernatural layer to his story. And look, his survival wasn't just a cool personal story, it was absolutely crucial. He was the one who managed to gather what was left of the empire, set up a new capital at Penikonda, and keep the Vijayanagara legacy alive. Without him, it all might have just vanished in 1565. And the craziest part? We only know any of this because that one rock, that one inscription, managed to survive for almost 500 years. It just gets you thinking, you know? This whole incredible story was just sitting there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to connect the dots between a poem, a battle, and an old stone inscription. It makes you wonder, what other secrets, what other amazing stories are still out there, etched into stone, just waiting for us to find them?